Oh, we're live.
Yes.
All right. Well, welcome everyone. Hi, it's Roy. I can't remember where I was looking. I didn't know what camera I was looking at. It's Roy and Daisy today, right? So today we're sorry that we're a couple minutes late. We have new equipment. So we have some new people behind the cameras. We have new equipment. So new mics. So hopefully we sound better. If you have if you can't hear us very well, let us know, please, because like I said, we're just trying out some new stuff. Hopefully, it will be easier to hear and understand, and new equipment. I think it probably is going to make us look better. I think you said, Noah said, so hopefully I could use all the help. So hopefully the camera makes me look better. But Daisy doesn't need any help. But so we're going to talk about a Wazer today. It is I think it's an interesting name. I think it's supposed to be like a combination of water and laser. Wazer. Is that what I think?
That's what I always say. Because people say Wazer. I'm like,
Yeah, they say Wazer, right?
sounds wrong.
Yep, but it's not. I'm pretty sure it's Wazer, right?
Yes.
That's what we heard from them. So it's a Waterjet cutting machine. We have two of them right behind us. And we're going to go and show you kind of like what the features are. I think we're going to turn one on at some point.
Yeah.
Right? And we're going to, in about 30 seconds, Daisy says. So we're going to cut some things for you. But I think, let's talk about it a little bit more, right? So what it really is a high pressure water jet cutting machine. So it's like a CNC machine, if you're familiar with those. Reads a computer file.
Yep.
And then the machine knows how to cut it. So we're using high pressure water and abrasive. The abrasive is garnet. Type of like, we say sand, right? But really it's a little more specific than just regular sand.
A little bit harder.
A little bit harder, yeah, isn't that what they said?
Yeah.
Yeah, so one of the slight disadvantages is that the garnet is not reusable because it gets contaminated, right? When it's cutting through the glass, it gets glass particles in it. It also gets, we're going to show you the bed here in a second, and you'll see that the bed is plastic, and so it gets some of that in there. And then not a good idea to run that back through the machine when it's got all that contamination in it. So. That sounds like, so that's it. So it's pretty safe to operate. I know sometimes, when we read the manual the first time, it was like, the water's under a lot of pressure, obviously. And so there's a concern there, but it like we were just talking about before we came on live, is that if the lid's open, the thing doesn't run. So it'd be pretty hard to actually accidentally get your hand under it while it's blasting. I'm not sure how that would happen, but it does. These are, the two different ones that we have are just what's the original Wazer, and then this is the Wazer Pro, which is pretty recent, right? Just a few months ago, I think they came out with this. Was it?
Yeah. When did we get that?
I was just trying to remember that.
Last year?
Man, yeah, like in December or November, something like that. Anyway, so it was not all that long ago, to be honest. So it's got some improvements on the original one, which we'll talk about. And of course, you can buy these from us. So if you get really kind of fired up about it and want to purchase one, they're on our website. Of course, we're here. Daisy and I, probably more Daisy than me, she cuts a lot more than I cut with it. And if you ever have questions or need help with it, we're here. The Wazer people are also wonderful to work with.
Yeah.
Their help department's excellent. But
yeah, the few times we've had to have some technical issues solved or something like that, or a part starting to go bad or anything like that, they're really helpful and know how to help you.
Yeah, and quickly. I remember, and quickly too. Usually,
Yeah.
It's not one of those things where you call them and just get a big voice loop where you're just talking to nobody for a long time. They actually, you talk to someone and they help you out.
So get a call back.
That's great. So why don't let's show them what we're cutting right. Well, we've been playing around right now. So we were asked by some people that work here to cut out some stars, right? We're getting close. We just finished with Memorial Day, and 4th of July is coming up, and Labor Day. We got all these Flag Day. I don't know when that is, but I think it's a real thing. And so we're trying to be patriotic, and so we were cutting out a bunch of stars. So again, if you're not familiar with the Wazer, one of the things about it is it makes all of these impossible cuts. Right, things that you could not do by hand, right? Again, if you just look at this simple star, cutting this out by hand would be, impossible.
Yeah.
So,
you'd have to
right.
use some sort of equipment or machine or saw or something.
Or something,
So-
you're right. And even then, you wouldn't get the precision that you get with this. And again, I mean, you can just, it can replicate the same shape as many times as you can get it to fit on the bed as it's cutting.
Yeah.
I know sometimes we hear some, you know, I'm kind of old school person when it comes to glass, working with glass, right? And I used to have that same sort of feeling like, well, if you can't cut it by hand, then it's not, you know, it's not good or whatever. But I don't actually believe that anymore. I mean, we have lots of tools, right? I mean, that help make it easier for us to do things. And so things like the Wazer is perfect for, again, all those things that you could not cut out by hand. So this is a nice platter. And again, the word, I know it might be hard to tell. So this is fused, for those of you that are familiar with that technique. But the word is one continuous piece. I mean, it's not like cut up into individual little letters like what you often have to do with doing alphabet. So,
Yeah.
but again, some complicated sort of, you know, pattern that would be impossible to cut out with a saw even. You couldn't cut this with a saw. You know, get all these inside cuts on the letter E and stuff. So, so pretty nice. I wanted to, oh, sorry. Grab the, can you grab the, yeah. So Daisy cut out these pine cones. Again, that is like, man, are they ever nice looking, right? I mean, with all those interior designs in there, yeah, really created a nice texture. And again, one more thing, you couldn't do by hand, so even if you wanted to, right? So here's an example of, so I know we're showing a lot of fusing stuff, but again, doesn't have to be for fusing, right? So, you know, Daisy did these tulips, and I'm stealing all your thunder, Daisy. I'm like making it sound like you did it. Like, I mean, like I did it, but I didn't do it. Daisy did all these really nice pieces. But so one's fused and then one's stained glass, right? So you can still foil and solder stuff together. I know, I wish we had.
It's the same exact file too, so I cut out the same exact thing and just put it together in different ways. So it's.
Yeah, so once you have the file, right, you obviously just go back and just repeat it all the time. So the file is kept on a SD card. Is that correct, right? So a little small SD card. There's on the side of the machine. We can I'll show you guys probably later what that looks like. So we'll show you all the various features that are on the machine. Pretty easy to operate. We have something in there. I think I'm just going to cut it real quick if you guys don't mind. So we started something and we paused it, but we wanted to just let you guys kind of have experience what it's like when we're cutting the Wazer. So bear with us here as I turn it on. I think. Did I do it right?
Yep, it's done.
Yeah. How long do you think it was going to be? Like, we don't know. It's like this is like an hour and a half of just this noise.
So I've got that camera
kidding.
live right now. Or one right there.
Oh, you got this camera live?
Yep.
Oh, good. So it's not me. Excellent. Did you have like 3 more to cut or just 2? Hopefully it stays in there.
So we have a question. They should still be able to hear you.
Oh, they can hear me?
Do you have to grind the ones for stained glass?
Oh no! So yeah, that's a great question. You know, do we have to grind them for stained glass? We don't have to. So basically, what the Wazer is doing is blasting and grinding through the glass. So all the edges are not sharp. So you know, whatever you're cutting it's ready to go. In fact, you know, if you get your file correct, you can often, especially whether you do lead cane work or copper foil, you can cut it so it's just a perfect size to foil it or lead cane it. But yeah, these are in here. So I don't know what camera you're
We're live
on here. Oh, yep. So you can probably see Daisy's hands and stuff. So you want me to get my big head out of the way? Okay. But you can see the stars that just cut out. This particular feature of this Wazer here is we can just rinse everything off right here. So the water you can have the water just drain into your sink. It doesn't have to be like, you don't even have to be a plumber. I mean, I originally set up ours. It was pretty simple. I tapped into the water line at our sink. We have a sink right here close by, and then the drainage hose went into the sink. Of course, now we have two Wazers, so we've hired a plumber to come in and do some work for us to try to get rid of the water. So if you see in between the two Wazers, you can see the piping that we have going on, so we have water coming into the two machines, and then we can drain them both out instead of having to go into the sink all the time. Yeah. But the questions I get asked sometimes is about the garnet, right? I was telling you that the garnet is not reusable, but it really is just dirt for the most part, right? It's just kind of sand, so it can go anywhere. I know I talked to somebody that throws it in their driveway, right? They had a dirt driveway, and they just put the used garnet in there. We've talked to people that have used the garnet and made their own concrete for stepping stones, because it's just sand for the most part, right? So you get these really interesting looking. Yeah, I'm gonna just grab some real quick. Joe, do you have a? Yeah, just so you guys, if you want to see what the garnet looks like, right? So it's nothing. Oh, sorry, Daisy. So I don't know where you were at. I mean, who we're here. So it's in here. It's this really nice kind of. It's just like I said. It's a sand. So I don't know how well you can get in on that or that with the camera. Okay, these guys doing an excellent job with the camera work and stuff. But it really, and it's. It feels soft. Would you say, is that how you describe that, right? I mean, so my point is, it isn't abrasive, but it is like, I'm not sure what the mesh is, but it's so fine that it's not real gritty like on your hands and stuff. It does get like all over the machine, but you can imagine with that water flying all over the place. You're gonna want to mount another one. I think Daisy's going to show you how this goes on. So the bed is a kind of a plastic-like bed. And so we screw everything into, you're in that one. So we screw into the bed. So you can see how Daisy is taking the screws out of it. The other thing that we did was we stuck some rubber washers on the screws. So that as we screw into the glass, we're not chipping the glass. And you don't have to go real tight. We just have to screw it so that it's firm to the bed and doesn't slide around on the bed while we're cutting.
Got a question from chat.
Yeah.
Are the stars likely to break because of the interior corners? So, do you have to still watch out?
Yeah, that's actually a great question, right? I mean, just because you can cut all these crazy shapes doesn't necessarily mean that they're stable shapes, right? I mean, we cut this. I'm going to show the nativity set. Can I just do it up in this camera? So. Am I in there right?
A little bit right.
Am I right?
Sorry, you're left. Yes, you're good now.
Yeah, right. So this is one that we did this whole nativity set, and you can see how really complicated this is. But again, foiling and soldering this, you would run into some risk, or there's, like I said, there's no guarantee they're going to break, but there's a risk, like over time, that maybe the shaft, the shepherd's hook, right? It's so thin. Maybe the tail of the cow back there might cause an issue. So there is something to be said about, just because you can cut it doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to be super great way of cutting it. But again, for the fusers out there, what's nice is once it's fused, it's pretty stable and you're not going to run into any issues. But yeah, with the stars, there's that possibility that I think what they were talking about is this inside part here. That does make it slightly unstable. But I think the scale of these particular stars are small enough that I'm not really sure. I don't think it'd be that big of a concern. Would you agree with that, Daisy?
Yeah, the stars are a pretty decent shape for not cracking, even with time. Earlier this year, we actually cut some hearts, which are on this platter here. And I was having some issues with cracking, in kind of that inside portion there. But it's, a point of a lot of stress. So kind of expected it, and just kind of over time, some of them got a little worse. But a lot of them were meant for fusing, so it doesn't really matter that much, because if you're fusing it, it's going to just be all together.
Yeah, together anyways, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not, even the Wazers aren't perfect, so, we have like a little breakage, right? And I think most of the time, we blame the glass more than we blame anything else, right? Because, well, like all the glass is, a lot of it's handmade. It's not always, art glass has stress in it anyways. And so if the bed hits it, it's just it's gonna crack sometimes just because of that reason, right?
Yeah. And you never know, like, even when you're hand cutting a sheet of glass, it could have a flaw in it and it breaks totally wrong. So that's still, relevant when you're doing it this way, especially since you're kind of taking some really high pressure water and sand and you're trying to blast it through this piece of glass that might have a flaw in it that you can't see. So there's no guarantee. But
Yep.
yeah.
Well, we should probably, let's talk about the features between the two real quick then. So the one on my right here is the original Wazer, and it is, the bed is how big's the bed again, Daisy? Do you say,
So the bed itself is 13 by 19, but the cutting area is 12 by 18.
So that's as big of a piece of glass you can do, is a 12 by 18. And I don't know how well this shows from where you guys are at with the camera, but there's actually a grid. So the bed is black, but it's got this white grid on it. So you can use that when you're in the software, when you're using the Wazer software to like plan where you're going to cut out your pieces. That gives you a reference so that when you're ready to put your glass onto the bed, you know approximately where you need to put it. We still sometimes have to tweak it a little bit exactly where we're going, but for the most part, it does give you a nice place to set it out. The Wazer, the original Wazer, what was I going to say about it? Oh, it doesn't have any way of cleaning the water out, so we have to. It does collect some of the abrasive. So here in the front, there is an area where there's these little buckets in the front of the machine. I don't know if you can see like me just pulling this out, right? But so it collects abrasive as we go, but it does not collect all the abrasive. So periodically we have to, did I not get it back in there? Oh, there we go. And then periodically we have to like take the bed out and then literally scoop out the abrasive, which is a lot of fun. Daisy, it's one of her favorite parts of the process is doing that. But otherwise, as far as what it can cut out, both machines will do the exact same cuts. You would agree, right? I mean, there's no difference in that. I mean, the nozzles are the same, how it operates. The interior chamber on the Pro is the same size as the regular one. So the bed is the exact same bed. So it's again, as Daisy pointed out, it's like 13 by 19 the bed is, but the biggest piece of glass we can get on there is 12 by 18. But we also often cut smaller pieces, right? Sometimes if you just need a little something you're trying to cut out, you can just put a little 6-inch piece in there, 8-inch piece in there.
8-inch.
Yeah, 8-inch. So one of the other features to the Wazer Pro then is over here is that it does cleans a lot of the abrasive out itself, doesn't it? In fact, supposedly we don't have to take the bed out.
It still has the buckets in the front. They are a little bit bigger, and it kind of collects it fully for us. That was one feature that they kind of improved on, and it's 100% collection rate is what they.
Oh wow! So it collects like all the abrasive, right? Something we don't have to track down. But you'll notice that. So when you're looking at the Pro, for example, it is it's on a stand. And with the Pro, the stand comes with it, and you'll see that I'm not the tallest person on the planet, so sometimes it's when I almost got to get up on my tippy toes sometimes to see what it is. But a little step stool or something would make it a little bit easier.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah, Daisy doesn't have any problems with it. She's totally fine with it. But I think we are going to show you how you mount. Oh, if you're not familiar with an SD card, you're on that, right? I mean, they're like the types that go into a camera or something like that, right? So small little things. They get fed into the machine right here. And then there's a little screen here that just walks you through what you need to do. There's 2 buttons that again takes you to where you need to go. There's maintenance we have to do on them periodically that we can just hit the buttons and it will clean out more of the abrasive. It cleans some filters, does that sort of thing. The red button on the top, if you see, is like a emergency stop. So if something's not going correct, you can just hit the button and it does just stop, which I think we've had to do that before. But I did one time when I had a problem with I had a piece I didn't have it tight enough when it was down, and as it was shooting, cutting into the glass, it was moving the piece of glass, and so I stopped it because I was like, hey, I don't need that piece moving. I probably could have just hit the regular stop button, right? But oh well. Anyways, but Daisy's going to show you how we would mount something onto the surface. Yeah. So do you have enough screws or?
Yeah.
Oh, you got them. And I mentioned earlier, so these are stainless steel screws. They come with the machine when you purchase them if you're buying a machine. In a couple of different lengths. What happens is the bed will start to get worn a little bit, and so sometimes the longer screws help stabilize it. It came with a screwdriver, right? So it comes with a variety of tools. Any tool you might need to do any kind of maintenance work on it, it comes with those tools. And then once we get it mounted onto the surface, we can actually check to see where it's going to cut on the glass. So we can do a little test first, and it will show the cut constraints, I think is how they word that.
Yes, which you can do that with the lid open, so you can actually see how the cutting nozzle moves and everything like that. But to actually cut and have that high pressure water and abrasive going, you need to have the door closed.
And the nice thing is that the machine, again, on this little screen, it walks you through every step that you're supposed to do. Make sure the water's on, make sure the nozzle height is adjusted. I mean, all those make sure there's abrasive in the hopper. Oh, we should show them where the abrasive is, right?
Yeah.
So, are we on this camera still?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're on this camera.
Good.
We've also got a question from the chat while you're pulling that. I can come this way. Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Yeah, question.
Do you want me to move this to that camera? Okay. And question from the chat, how thick of glass can it cut?
So the old Wazer, as I refer to it, so this shorter one here, for that machine in their software to get the correct files all put together, I think the biggest measurement they have for glass is 6 millimeters, which is about 1/4 of an inch. So that's probably where I would feel okay with this one. For the Pro, however, the largest measurement for glass is 10 millimeters, which is about 3/8 of an inch. But this machine is a little bit more powerful than the old one, so I would think that it could, cut through that just fine. I actually did have a guy come in with some material that he needed some circles cut out of, and it was probably about 1/2 inch, and it
Oh, yes, I remember we cut those. And that was, personally, we haven't tested it. As Daisy pointed out in the, in the software, it kind of gives you some parameters about this, you can cut these different thicknesses, but yeah, we haven't had any real reason to go much more than 1/4 of an inch. I know we've cut fused glass, which would be about 1/4 of an inch before, and I think, but you said that stuff was almost 1/2 inch. I would think so, right? I would think it would do it probably without any problem. So
it struggled a little bit, but I think that was more because of the material that he had brought in, rather than the machine couldn't do it. It was a very kind of
it was a real
finicky material.
Yeah, it was interesting. So I guess we should also say that, the Wazers were really designed to cut metal. Stainless steel, regular steel, aluminum, copper. Yeah, we just use it. Obviously we're a glass place, so we're using it to cut glass. But we've cut ceramics with it. We cut some plastics with it one time for people. So there's a variety of materials it can cut, not just glass. But I just want to show you where the abrasive goes, right? So the point is real easy to load for the most part, right? So it's just there on the side. Yep, and you just pour it through the screen, so if there's any little lumps or anything that might be contaminating it'll stop it from going in there. And it surprisingly how it, especially on the Pro, last a while, right?
Yeah, I think this is a 40-pound drawer, so you can put 40 pounds of abrasive in this one, and on the old machine it holds 30 pounds.
30 pounds, yeah.
So a little bit bigger. Just everything is
Yep.
a little bit bigger.
And so another difference, since we're, again, sorry, I know I'm kind of jumping around about the differences between them, but the differences between the regular and the Pro is faster. The cut time is probably like 4 times faster, right, than the regular one. And because of that, it uses a quarter of the amount of the abrasive as the original. So which makes sense, right? It's faster, so it's not using as much abrasive. That's really what it is. I know some people think that the machine doesn't require as much abrasive, but it's not really. It's just that it's faster, so because of that, it's using less amount of abrasive. But that 4 times faster, I know we've really appreciated that, and the only using a quarter of the regular amount of abrasive is also kind of a nice little savings thing. So, but Daisy's got this all put screwed down, so I think she's going to, are you going to check the cut?
Yes. I have to find the file first.
Oh, yep. So now just, scrolling through, again, like you see, it's kind of hard to see the screen what's on top, but.
I'm not tall.
And it's just looking for the file. So obviously the SD cards holds a ton of files. I don't know how many, but man, it will hold a bunch.
I mean, the files are tiny, so it's...
The files are tiny. So the first thing it does is it homes itself, right? So it is, it's looking for always looks for the upper left-hand corner, right? The machine does. But we can find out where it's actually going to cut the most external parameters by just hitting a button.
Yeah. So what my little screen here looks like is the very first thing it has is it just has details about the file. So it tells me what material I'm cutting. So it's glass, soda, lime, which is what art glass is. It has the thickness, which is 3 millimeters. So it's kind of our standard thickness here. And then it tells me how long the cut is going to take. So this cut is going to take 4 minutes. So it's quite fast. So if we were cutting this on the old Wazer, it would take about 16 minutes for the same file. So now it's just asking me a couple questions, make sure I've checked everything.
Yeah, make sure we've checked the water levels, the abrasive, right, all that sort of stuff.
All right. So now it's going to basically just show me where the edge of my cut file is. So that makes sure that you can have your material in the right spot and it's completely covered, so you're not just cutting through the bed without cutting your material, because it's not really great to do that. So
yeah, so you can see it tracking, right? It's going to take on the outermost part of the design. It gives us an opportunity, as Daisy pointed out, you can tweak it by just slightly moving the glass over in some direction, which may be what she's going to do. I know that Daisy's pretty good at programming this, and she likes to get right to the very edge and use as much of the glass as possible.
I can cut a almost 12-inch circle out of a 12-inch
12-inch piece of glass. I know that's pretty good.
It was a little bit close to that right edge, so I'm gonna just.
So the other thing about we talk about this sometimes is that so the Wazer could actually just be another worker, right? I mean, so instead of you having to like cut out shapes, the machine can cut out shapes for you. I mean, so sometimes people are like, well, I can cut circles, but can you cut like a bunch of circles, and do you have the time to do that? Where the machine can just do it in minutes, and can free you up for doing something else, even if it's working on your project or getting something else prepared. It's like another employee that doesn't need a lunch break, is what.
Just occasionally needs to be.
Yeah, just occasionally
clean.
needs a little cleaning, but.
So I do have a question from the chat while you're setting that up. How much abrasive do you guys go through?
That's a great question.
Can you guys repeat the question? I don't think the
Yes, I don't have a mic.
Oh, that's right. So yeah, the question is how much abrasive do we go through, right, when we're cutting? I mean, well, what's this, 4 pounds for this one? This little piece? No, it's not that much, is it? No, that's 4 minutes. It's
1.36 pounds.
Yeah, so it's going to take about 1 1/3 pounds for this one piece of glass. And so we're buying the abrasive in 80-pound bags. Is that right? No, 55-pound bags. Oh, the buckets are 80 pounds.
Yes.
Okay, 55-pound bags.
The full pallet is 2,200 pounds. So however many 55-pound bags it takes to make a ton, real. So, but,
yeah, I know we're just dancing around the question. We haven't really answered it, but
we're only on our second pallet of abrasive.
And we cut and we cut almost every day. I mean, we're right. I mean, it doesn't run 8 hours a day, but man, we cut almost every day. So,
I mean,
dang, I know it's.
If you look at everything that I cut, it's probably
so
about one time a day if you spread it out. But it's.
Yeah, I know. Well, I guess well, that's a great question. Thanks for asking, because you've stumped us, because we don't really know. We're not apparently not keeping track of it, but
I'll have to
we just.
do some.
Yeah. Don't worry, Daisy will calculate it all. She'll look at everything we've ever cut and put it on there. But
I'll find out.
so she's got it all down, and then so she checked where it's going to cut. So if we had needed to make any adjustments to the glass, we could have done that, and then it's ready to cut. I don't know if we're. I mean, we're not going to just cut the whole thing in front of you guys. I think it's right. You probably don't need to hang around for 4 minutes to see what it does. You already saw what it cut, but we'll start it in just a moment so you can see. I'm just trying to think of what other topics real quick we need to cover. Oh, show them the water thing on this one real quick. So one of the really nice features to the Pro is that it comes with this little hose, so you can just. I mean, because as I mentioned earlier, the abrasive gets everywhere on the inside of the chamber, and you can just clean stuff off, which is like real nice. So, and what's also nice is that we can just, we use this hose on the other one, right, on the other Wazer. So we can clean out both our Wazers with just using that one hose. And you'll see that the Wazer Pro also will adjust the water level. So it's, right now, since she added that extra water, they got a little bit extra water on top of the bed, but it will just, as it's working, it's going to drain out that extra water. The Wazer Pro, you can actually cut underwater, and we've done that a couple of times. There's some advantages and disadvantages to that, and
I haven't quite figured it out yet.
yeah, we still like cutting not underwater, but for a variety of reasons. But otherwise,
Did you know that it drains when you turn the low pressure pump on? So if you added too much water,
you can just
you
automatically
can turn on the abrasive collect, and it'll reset the water.
Oh, reset the water level. Oh, nice. Good.
So,
Nice. Yeah. I mean, it's super easy to use for the most part, right? So the other thing that we didn't talk about a lot, but I think we're going to do it separate, maybe as another recording, is talking about the software. The Wazer uses a software they call WAM, W-A-M. I'm sure it's an acronym for something. And then we talk about the files, right? You just need, really you just need to start out with even a JPEG, right? A simple.
Like, if you guys wanted to, inquire about having something cut, the main question that people ask is, what type of file do you need? Which technically we need like an SVG file at the end of it, but not everybody knows what that is or how to get that, or how to have the right stuff on a file to send to me to make it the least amount of work that they can, which is totally fine because I kind of enjoy doing it. So
yeah, and we can convert it, right? Oh yeah.
I've worked from a JPEG, so just a simple like image. If you take a picture with your phone and you're like, hey, can you cut this out? Absolutely, it'll just take me a minute. So a JPEG, a PDF, if you pull out some
bitmap,
clip art.
Clip art, right?
I hand trace a lot of stuff on the computer, so just to make sure that it's completely ready and what it needs to be in order for it to work in the machine. And I like to kind of lay out my own files just because I can make sure that we're going to have a more successful cut, because I work with these a lot, so I kind of know the limitations of like how close things can be.
Yeah, and the best use of the glass, right? I mean, so you're going to try to get the most you can out of like what size of glass we have in there. So, yeah, I don't know if we said it. Maybe we didn't say it really clear enough, but we do actually do custom cutting for people, and I mean, Daisy does that like almost on a, like I said, on a daily basis. So there's that's on our website too, right? So there's Wazer for you, I think, is the item number, and if you plug that into the search bar, it'll take you to it. And as she mentioned, the file can be as simple as clip art or something, and black and white line drawing is probably usually the easiest for us, or something that's a silhouette. That also works.
Yep.
Silhouettes
work really well because I can kind of have a more defined line to trace to get the shape that you would like. But
so you want to, so is it ready then? So for the most part, right, we checked the constraints, we saw where it was going to cut, so we know that that's pretty good. Yep. Otherwise, I don't know what else we needed to cover about the Wazers. Do you have? We appreciate the questions today. If you have more, if you're not watching us live and you stumble across us and you're watching this and you have questions, I mean, you can always reach out to us. You can email us at facebook@delphiglass.com. You can always message us on Instagram or on Facebook, or was that us? Is that it?
Comments as well.
Oh, in the comments as well. Yeah, I forgot that one. So yeah, or in the comments. Thanks, Noah, helping us out. And we'll get back to you. So if you ask a question, we'll definitely try to get back to you. We have, and when I say we, I mean mainly Daisy, has worked with the Wazer a whole lot. So we do a lot of troubleshooting with it. We can definitely answer any questions or help you guys out. But I think we're gonna close by turning it on and letting it run. So if you really like these red, white, and blue stars, I'm pretty sure, I think that maybe soon they'll be available on our website. So. Yeah, we're going to try to do some different ones, and then not just patriotic. I think we're going to try some other things. So, but some stars.
Some sparkly.
Yeah. Or if you have ideas for things you want us to cut, because you want to buy from us, hey, just let us know. We'll consider it. So, but thanks for joining us today. Hopefully, you learned a lot about the Wazers, and if not, get a hold of us. Thanks for all your help, Daisy.
Perfect.
Noah, Jarrell, thanks for your help behind the cameras.
Of course.
We appreciate it.
We're going to switch to
We're switching. All right, yeah, and then we're going to close out by just turning this baby on. It's super exciting, I know.